G'day, I'd just like to make a video to explain about the potential that people think of a magnet failure on an E55. This is the magnet. Most of you have probably never seen one because it's all hiding behind this thing, which I would call the clutch or the clutch cover, and on top of that is your pulley. So generally what you will see is pulley, clutch cover, like that. And that stacks on top of your snout of your supercharger. So we've had a lot of people recently complaining that their magnet has died. So this magnet sits under there like that. If your magnet dies, you'll have no noise, you'll have no scraping, no other side effects other than your supercharger just won't kick in. So there was one the other day and he had a problem with this, and I would call this your clutch. So basically he had worn in here inside and it was rubbing on the end of the snout. So it was rubbing on here somehow. I still haven't come to the bottom of it, but basically he had some nasty wear marks inside here, and it was grinding on the end of this shaft here. So that's what your magnet looks like. It's a big ring, and when it dies it pretty much just stops kicking in. So I'll just show you how it goes together quickly. So your magnet goes on top like this, and there's a little locking, if I can see it. Anyway, that locks into place like so. Clutch goes over the top. This obviously isn't going to go on because it requires heat to expand it, but your pulley goes over the top there. So pulley goes down like that. Hope that's a bit of an explanation of it. What I find probably the biggest common cause of it is people have not gapped this section correctly. So this is the clutch and this is the back plate of the pulley. So what happens is when the magnet, sorry, I'm just trying to do this, magnet engages, this is alloy, so it doesn't actually magnetize. It pulls this back pulley onto the clutch. So I've just taken the shim out of it. Better go get that. Okay, so shim, this goes on here, and this is how you correctly gap your pulley. So when this wants to go down, obviously, your pulley should be able to move freely and quietly without the clutch. If this is touching and you have no gap, and you get a bit of a scraping noise like that, you'll either find it's the bearing inside here that's worn, or you've worn between the actual alloy pulley and the bearing, or you just haven't shimmed it correctly. I don't know if this one will do it for me, but I'll try it without the shim. No, this one's still good. Oh, there you go. Bit of a scrape. But a lot of people find that these straps break either on the inside or the outside. So you can see the outside really easily. The inside is hiding in here, and they crack inside there. The straps actually break, and then that makes this actual plate wobble around and carry on. So I think that's what was potentially happening to the other guy, but it was actually this part here that was touching. So it's fully covered, so I had a feeling that he's actually worn the shaft of this, and it's got a bit of a wobble in it, and it's dancing around and wearing it out. Now the other thing that people complain about or say that there's a problem is there's a surface in here that's, I'd say it resembles a brake pad or a clutch pad. So you've got a metal composite and you've got a pad-like material. This sometimes cracks. I've got some little divots in mine, and a lot of people say, oh, I need a new clutch, I need a new magnet for my supercharger. I don't find it the case, and I think you could probably not even have any of that and it would still run fine. All it is to help with the actual slip until the supercharger engages. Once it's engaged, it's 1-to-1, so it might be a bit more noisy with it gone, but it will still work. A lot of people will change these whole parts out, go to fix pulleys, and it doesn't solve the problem that they actually have. So the other thing is that this bearing in here is a specialty bearing by Nashi, and it's got a very special code, and it's not really to be replaced with any other bearing. There is others that are similar in size, but they do not have the same specifications and they just won't survive. So you put a cheap bearing in there, or even you go to the bearing shop and they say, oh no, we've got this other one, I pretty much guarantee you it'll last a couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks. So yeah, that's about it. I just thought I'd show a bit of a video of how this all goes together. So to give you an idea of what it looks like on the car, you've got your pulley, magnet, clutch, and your magnet hides behind here. When people say they're doing a magnet delete, what they're doing is they're actually removing this. Get it out with one hand, and that's what they're left with. So they're basically getting rid of this item, which is just a cover and a sleeve, and they're putting a fixed pulley, which doesn't need a back on it, on the shaft. So that's why there's a big gap there. Alright, thanks for watching, and if you've got any more questions, go to my website or contact me on Facebook, and I'll help you out as much as I can.